We are mighty Marine. Oh, oh, oh.
Welcome to the Marine FC official podcast. Now, I'm joined by three special guests today, and I'm absolutely delighted to be joined by Declan Henry, the assistant manager of Marine Women's Football Club, and of course the captain, Shannon Grogan, and the vice captain, Abby Weaver. So, welcome to the show. I hope you're all right. Well, first of all, I'd like to thank you as well for all the support on Twitter, of course, in the FA Cup run, for obviously the entirety of the cup run, really, and personally for myself during the Football Twitter Admin World Cup as well. You backed me all the way, so that was boss. But
Absolutely.
yeah, got me to that title. But now I want to congratulate you, of course, as well on the brilliant win over Salford Ladies today. So that was fantastic. We'll start with you, Dec. Talk us through that one. What was the game like?
It was quite interesting, actually. We had a couple of new players in the starting lineup, players that we'd kind of recruited through the lockdown. So we only had the chance to meet them 2 weeks ago. We've had a few Zoom calls with them and stuff. Obviously, we know their background. We'd spoken to people who'd coached them previously, and we were quite happy. But obviously, it's a lot different until you actually get in front of each other. You can't see ability, or you can't do trials and stuff through Zoom calls. So we had a few new people in the squad today, and I think it went initially. It was a bit cagey. We scored first, nice and early on.
Yeah.
But we kind of, it was waiting for players to just kind of click. There's only so much you can do in training, and obviously they've been trying to get used to each other, how they play and stuff. But we made a couple of changes through the first half, and really after we'd conceded 2 at that point, made a few changes more to the shape rather than personnel. Gave a few instructions out, and then after that we dominated them then from 35 minutes in all the way through to the final whistle.
Yeah, that's brilliant, and good results in the end, of course. Against a team who were a couple of leagues up as well, so it's really good establishing yourself in there. So it must have been really good. We'll start with Shannon as well, and in terms of playing out there, what's it like being able to get out there again after obviously time out with the pandemic and stuff? What's it like to be able to get out there and play a game of footy again?
Yeah, it's quite relieving to play again, to be honest. Obviously, everything in the world's a bit unsure, isn't it? So it's good that football's been one of the first things to get back, and yeah, it's good to meet all the new players and be back with all the old ones as well.
Yeah, it'll take time for the team to bond, obviously, but like it's about you as a captain as well. What's it like trying to get a team to bond when you've got all those new players? How's that team come together? Is kind of just like playing together. You've got to play to get together to learn each other's game and things like that.
Yeah, in terms of on the pitch, obviously it's just playing, training. You get that gel. Some people you don't get that gel with anyway, but in terms of football, it's just about playing. But off the pitch as well, you've just got to make sure you're all talking. Especially when they joined and we weren't actually training or anything. You have to make sure you're doing loads of Zooms and just talking and getting to know everyone and making sure no one's on their own and being left out on it, all things like that. So yeah, we've done quite well. I think everyone's joined, everyone's comfortable.
Yeah, sounds good. And what I was going to say as well, coming on to Abby, what's it been like with not being able to play together? Obviously, what's it been like? What have you been able to do to keep fit during the time out of the game when you're not being able to play footy?
Just that, like, if you're into like fitness yourself, you do a little bit yourself, don't you, and stuff. But obviously it's just then either going on walks, bike rides, anything, just really just to keep you active and keep you going really till you're back at it. Yeah.
Nothing like getting out there and having a game now properly, is it? So
keep yourself going, don't you?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but hopefully you kept the fitness levels up and back out there today. So coming back onto Dec, what tell us about the season so far? Where's you up to then? Because I think if I'm right, you're meant to be starting again the season again soon. So tell us where you're up to in the season so far and how's it going?
Yeah, so it's been a bit of a topsy-turvy season. Obviously it was our first one as a team. Marine didn't have a women's team this time last year. We came together, I think, first time. It was just after my birthday, so it's like the 28th of July, something like that. And basically, we met all the girls. It was like on a Sunday afternoon. Everyone came down to the stadium. They got a tour. I think we had 8 or 9 players at that point, and 2 of them were goalies. So we couldn't even begin to think about a starting 11 then. And that was the end of July, kind of 6 weeks before the season started.
Wow.
So we had our first training session. The girls that were there, credit to them, the motivation was right on top. So we started on the 2nd of August. So it was literally like 3 or 4 days later. The girls that were there were like, yeah, no, we'll train as is. And we kind of gradually built it up. We started off with a real bit of fire. I think we were unknown, and that went to our advantage. So we won a couple of big games early on.
Yeah.
We struggled a little bit then after the lockdown around October. I think we hadn't had as long together. We hadn't been able to train. Some of our players, we just didn't recover from the lockdown in the way that some of the more established teams did. And we had a few losses at that point. But I think we learned the lessons there. And this lockdown, we've kind of been on top of people. As Abs was saying, they've been going out by themselves. And we've been encouraging it. We encouraged it the first time round. But obviously, it's about self-discipline and the players knowing that they need to go and do that themselves. And I think this time we'd lost a few players, gained a few more, and we'd kind of established a squad, I think, really by Christmas. And it was a shame to have a lockdown. We were just kind of performing the way we wanted. And obviously we went back into lockdown in January. But now it's all good signs at this point. We're hoping to kind of perform well now on the back of today. We've got 7 or 8 games left this season. I think we're the only Marine team whose league is actually continuing. So, all the eggs are in our basket now. We need to go out and perform for the rest of the season. And then we're kind of looking towards next year and making sure we finish this season well and we're on a good footing for the next season.
Definitely, and all the Marine fans have got to get behind us now, because if we haven't got football to watch ourselves, like men's football, and obviously we need to get down and support the women's football as well, because it's obviously we just starting out. Since it's been a very stunted season for you. So what a season to start out in terms of coming back from it and things like that. But yeah, as you said, you had 8 or 9 players and 2 were goalkeepers when you first started out with 6 weeks of the season to go. How did you go about recruiting players at that point to bring players in to actually make a starting 11, never mind a full squad? How did you actually recruit players to bring them in with 6 weeks to go?
Well, I mean, so you're actually, Shannon was there on day one. She was there when we had our first meeting with the players, but Abs wasn't. She came down later on, didn't you? Probably about 2 weeks before we actually started, and that was just one of the players. We were struggling for defenders. Obviously, everyone wants to play up front, everyone wants the glory, everyone wants to score the goals, and we were struggling to get hold of any defenders. And just one of the other players said, look, there's a player I know, she hasn't played in a couple of years, we used to get on with her really well, is she okay to come down? And we took one look at her and said no. No, also obviously she came down. We were training on the beach at that point. I think that was our first session. Abs came down and had a proper beasting session, physical fitness on the beach. And for some reason she decided she loved it, and she agreed to come back and join the squad. So a lot of it was kind of word of mouth, players getting in touch with people he knew. We had Frankie Meadows as well. He's kind of a legend of the grassroots game, did a lot. He used to run Crosby Ladies and is involved with Crosby Stewart. And their under-18s had just folded. So he kind of encouraged a few players across at that point. And that's now started up it's a pathway, it's a progression for the girls at Crosby Stewart who reach the age where they can no longer play for Crosby Stewart. For a lot of them in the past, that's been the end of their time in football, because it's not easy to find a new club. You don't feel as confident. And now we're doing a guaranteed trial for the girls that are aging out at Crosby Stewart to make sure they can come to us. And obviously, hopefully, we can make sure they continue to play football and increase the number of women playing football, whether it's for us or someone else,
Yeah, definitely. In the game in general, that sounds brilliant. Shannon, how did you find out about the team in the first place? Then obviously you were there from day one. How did you find out about it starting, and how did you get involved with joining it?
I was actually playing for Crosby Ladies last year, and they folded, and then I got a text from Frankie and said, "Get your boots back out." And then he just told me the information of the meeting, and then I just went down. Yeah, still there.
From there. No, we actually have to
The rest is history, as they say.
No, that's superb. That's brilliant. And Abby just came along into the season as well. Did you start the season? Did you start the season like at the same time as them? Then obviously you came in a couple of weeks into the pre-season. You started the season with the team, Abby. Yeah.
Yeah. I started training before the season started. Like,
Yeah.
played the first game with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you came back into football, did you say, after a couple of years out?
Yeah, well, I used to play for Crosby Ladies under Frankie Meadows. Did the treble with him then. And then he sort of like got promoted, so we took the team up, and I stayed with the reserves. I didn't go up with them. And then it just didn't really work out well. Like, just wasn't gelling as a team and stuff, so I left that. And then I just wasn't playing and stuff. And then, as Dex says, one of the girls got in touch and said, like, we're starting up Marines and stuff if you fancy coming down.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it turns up at the beach.
I think that's one of the good things actually in women's football. Obviously, it's quite hard to do scouting and stuff at this level. No one's publishing full footage of the game, so unless you're able to be in two places at once, you can't watch them. But the fortunate thing is with obviously the women's, because it's such a small group, not that many compared to men's football in Liverpool. There's so many less women playing, but actually, as players are coming to you, they've got experience. They know players on other teams, so you get that kind of intel coming through.
Yeah.
Every time you face an opponent, you can turn around to the girls and they'll give you a little brief on which winger's fast, who likes to cut inside, who the ones to watch. It's really it's quite good.
Yeah.
Shame it can't always be like that.
Everyone knows everyone, closely linked. It's interesting. But coming on to you then, Dec, how did you get the opportunity to be on the management of the team when it first started?
So it was through Ian, the manager. He was involved with Marine previously. I believe he was on the board of directors or on the committee, so some kind of office boardroom kind of deal. And obviously he is a qualified coach from his time in the Navy. And he wasn't involved. I met him through something else. We're doing like the Army Cadets, so it's like a youth organisation for kids. Met each other there. I had a conversation about football. I was involved with a lads team at the time, and he was quite interested in some of the stuff we were doing, food bank collections, some diversity and inclusion stuff, partnering with an LGBT inclusive team to give people who played on that team an opportunity to play outside of that and play in like a men's open age league as well, rather than the inclusive league. And he was quite interested, so he started coming down to some training sessions. And Marine then put out the call and said, like, we're going to start a women's team in 6 weeks' time. Who's interested? And he spoke to me about it and said, look, I'm going to put into a bid to be the manager. And if I get it, I'd like you to come on board as my assistant and coach. So that was that. He was successful in his application. I got a call about 10 minutes later saying, look, you're committed now, tough. no backseas, basically.
Stuck with us.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. No, it's brilliant. It's great how the teams come together in 1 year, one stunted year as well, where it's been stop-start, but it seems like you've managed to get a team and gel them together really well. So that's really good, yeah. Coming on to women's football in general then, Shannon, do you have any role models in the women's game at the moment?
Oh, God.
Put you on the spot there, sorry.
I know. To be honest, I don't have like anyone in particular. I look up to them all the England squad. Any young girls who get through, because on your journey, like growing up, you do get a lot of people doubting you, and it's quite hard, to be fair, in school and everything. It's like when you tell someone you're playing football, it's like, wow, you play football. But yeah, at the minute, I think Lucy Bronze is probably someone my ex, I know she captains, and yeah, she's just someone to look up to, I suppose. Not that I'd ever get that far, but
Never know. No starting out, you never know. But,
Never say never.
you've
I
got
made
to,
a glass, Dex says.
I do say she's made of glass.
oh, terrible.
Strong, durable, reinforced glass, naturally.
Pyrex. Strong Pyrex.
Yeah.
No, that's brilliant. Now it's time for the Guess the Goals segment, and this week is a very important penalty from the FA Cup run. So thanks again to the kids from St Greg's School in Lydiate for providing us with the excellent commentary. Please let us know on Twitter or in the comment section on YouTube which goal you think it is, and we will pick one lucky winner to win a special prize. But yeah, listen to the clip and let us know which one you think it is.
He's looking the goalkeeper in the eyes. Can the goalkeeper save it? No, he can't. It's gone straight down the middle. He sent the goalkeeper the wrong way. Unleashes a thunderbolt and scores. All of them are jumping all over each other and hugging. Even the managers. This is amazing for Marine. They've won the penalty shootout 5-3 to get into the second round of the FA Cup.
But yeah, coming on to Abby, how important do you think it is at the moment to get the women's game on a level with the men's, where in a time where it's kind of like this is a very important time. You've got the Choose to Challenge thing going. You've got like women being offered professional deals in the Women's Super League and things like that. How important is it to take advantage of that moment right now, do you think?
Big time. It should be like there now. I think it took a long time for it to get there, and I think it should have been well there by now.
Yeah.
Like women's footy, it's just as big as men's. Do you know what I mean? It should be up there.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what? I think there's a little known fact really, but the FA actually banned women's football for over 50 years, and not a lot of people are aware of that. But basically, post World War One, women's football had more spectators than men's. And I think it was around 1921, the FA issued guidance basically saying football was unsuitable for women's bodies, it causes all sorts of injuries, and banned women's teams from playing on any FA affiliated pitches. So if a club was FA affiliated, they couldn't allow women to play there. And that wasn't lifted until I think the 1970s, possibly a little bit later. So, you know, when you're talking about it, actually, it's come on leaps and bounds to be where it is now. It's got a long way to go, but a lot of the arguments you used to see, you know, women can't play in Anfield or Old Trafford because they couldn't fill it. Well, neither can the men at the minute. You know, they're playing in an empty stadium, but they still get all the bells and whistles. The pitch is still superb. They've got excellent facilities. So now they've lost that argument as to why women can't have that or shouldn't have that. Yeah. I think that's really, there's not many positives to come out of the last 12 months. I think we can all agree, but that's certainly one of them for me.
Definitely, yeah. And then broadcast deal as well coming into the Women's Super League is going to be mega important as well in terms of money and stuff like that, which is fantastic boost. And you've seen some, not all yet, but some international bodies like I think England and Brazil have done it so far, putting equal pay in terms of the international teams for the men and the women, which is fantastic. So hopefully that'll be generalised as well in terms of on a world level. But yeah, coming back to the team then this season, Dec, what's your ambitions for this season with the team? What's the ambition to get with the squad? Is it kind of, obviously now it's kind of difficult just to get the team gelling together again, but just this season beyond as well, what's your ambitions to achieve with this team?
So in terms of this season, it was always about just embedding the players together, getting them, making it a team. You know, we'd been together 6 weeks, if that, for some of the players. Obviously, like as I mentioned, Abs. We've had a couple of players come on board through the season. We had a player who had to leave because they got pregnant, and obviously, like that's something you don't have to contend with in men's football. Yeah. But it's a unique challenge, but it's not impossible. And obviously, we've found a way around it. But I think, yeah, the big issue this season was always about making it a team, not just, you know, 18 or 20 individuals you'd like to kick a ball around, but actually having a team, having defined roles, making sure those relationships were built between, you know, the staff, the players, and having it that kind of good feel around the club. And I think we're starting to get that now. We've really kind of achieved it over the past few weeks. Today, I think it shows, going out and getting a result with a new squad that haven't really played, or some of them have never played with us before. And then I think what we're looking for to the future is absolutely to progress.
Yeah.
At the minute, obviously, we're already above the men's team. Sorry, but we are purely because of the level of tiers. There's more tiers to the men's game, but we're currently sat in a higher tier than yourselves.
Fantastic.
I never miss an opportunity to get that one out there. We are absolutely Marines Premier Club, a Premier team. But I think the focus is purely that we want to be playing at a higher level. We want to match the lads, if not surpass them, as far as we're concerned. They've had 126 years now.
Yeah.
We're 1 year in and we're kind of hot on the tail.
Yeah, definitely. It's really interesting. Something that Marine fans should get on board with much more as well, because if you support Marine, it shouldn't just be one team, it should be all of the Marine teams and in general.
Absolutely.
Definitely. And I really want to get involved as well. I know my mate Matt has come down to cover a couple of matches recently, so I'm sure I'll get down there as well to help out too.
Yeah, he was doing post-match interviews today.
Doing a good job.
Yeah, so gave me a good grilling, safe to say.
That's fantastic. Yeah, he's a funny fella, Matt. But a little shout out to the podcast for him there, Matt Lorimer Roberts. Not really a mouthful, I just couldn't get my mouth around it. But no, ideally, in an ideal situation without COVID and that, I just come down and get to know all the players in terms of get them all on the podcast and get everyone. But of course we've had to stick with the VIPs for this time. We've had to do it remotely. But I'd like you to help us get to know some of the other players as well. So you've probably seen the teammate sections and things and stuff like that on Sky Sports. Soccer AM do it all the time. So I'll do a little bit of that as well, if that's all right with you, with you girls. So I'll start with Shannon. We'll go with dressing room DJ to start off with. Who's the person that picks the tunes before games?
Well, to be fair, we don't really have a dressing room, so
That's what happens.
Yeah. COVID rules banned it.
How does that work?
Who's the DJ? Abs, who's the DJ?
There's no ask a friend on this.
I'd say
No phone a
Rachel.
friend or 50-50s.
Yeah, I think Rachel had a playlist on last time, didn't she?
Yeah, I'm going to say Rachel.
Rachel what, sorry?
Rachel Lamb.
Rachel Lamb. What kind of tunes are they? What kind of tunes go on?
Just some uplifting dance tunes, get you in the mood.
Yeah, gotta be. It's gotta be. Sounds like. Lovely stuff. What about moving on to Abby? We'll move on to physical stuff. Who's the fastest player in the team?
Fastest?
Yeah.
I'd probably say little Sophie, right back.
Yeah.
I think that's a good shout there.
She's up there, isn't she? I can't think of anyone who else is back.
Yeah, she's got fast legs, so.
I don't think anyone's beaten her, to be fair, and it's quite impressive because she's only about 4 foot tall, so
Yeah.
I don't know how she's that fast.
No centre of gravity. You just get across the floor quickly, innit? Fantastic. We'll come back onto Shannon. Who's the funniest? Probably debatable, but.
I'm gonna have to say Emma.
Yeah.
She's just got this dry humour, and I don't know. It's just she makes me laugh anyway. I don't know. She's not like a loud humour.
You've got to get it to understand her.
You've got to understand her, but she is really funny.
Yeah, that's brilliant. It's interesting, but this is potentially a controversial one. I've used this. I asked Neil Kengley this about the men's team, and it could be a controversial one. I'll ask Abby. Who's the teacher's pet in the team?
Teacher's pet. Don't know. I don't think I've really got one.
Not baiting anyone out.
No. I
I was going to say the simple answer is none of them like to listen to me. So
he asked me and Shannon to do warm-ups and get the girls encouraged to do stuff. So it's probably us too.
Brilliant. Fair play
Who
for
did
admitting it.
Kengi say?
Kane, he said,
Sorry? Oh.
he said, Niall Cummins is like a brother with Neil Young. So
About the same age as well, aren't they?
yeah, he probably are, to be fair. Yeah, but he didn't bait too many people out, to be fair. I think he said he was the best dancer in the team as well. So that's the next one I'll ask you. To be fair, I don't know
Bold
if you
statement.
he said him and Josh Solomon were the best dancers. So we'll have to have a boys v girls dance off at some point when we can get out. But Shannon, who the best dancer is in the girls team?
Oh, I have to say me. I'm only joking. I don't know who.
This is tough because we've only been together through lockdown. We haven't had a proper like club
Enough
night out or
dance.
anything.
Yeah.
I wouldn't
We
say
have to
anyone
miss
was
out
even
on a
like.
Christmas one.
I wouldn't say anyone was even like out of the shell enough to just start dancing at
Yeah.
training. Or
Yeah.
anything,
I don't know. You know, Rachel likes to bust a few moves. Normally, while she's waiting for a caller to come in or something. Yeah. Loves a TikTok. So do you, to be fair, Abs. You love a TikTok dance.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, why not? It's fun, isn't it?
I'll have to give it to Abs then.
What about the women's? What about the Marine Women's FC TikTok channel? How about that? Do you reckon
No.
that's something you get going?
Abs is nodding there. I think we could have one of them.
You should. Considering it for the I'm considering making a club one, so I think we'll probably include the men's and the women's team, because I think someone made a club one recently. This is a story for the podcast. Someone made a club one recently, which I wasn't aware of for months. Someone made one around the same time as the Tottenham game. I'm not really massively into TikTok, so I didn't really know anything about it. But I got a message off another admin in the league just to say, can you give us a shout out on your club TikTok? And I was like, club TikTok? And he said, yeah, the one with 13,000 followers. And I was like, what? So I had a look, and someone had made a Marine TikTok account, and it got 13,000 followers somehow. But they were slating local clubs like Liverpool and Everton. They were spelling players' names wrong, so we had to sort that out in the end. But I think I'll have to make one myself. I doubt it'll get as many followers as whoever that was. But fair play to them for having a go. But yeah, but no. Last question in the teammate session. We'll come on to Abby. Who's the mum of the group at the moment, would you say?
I don't know.
Is Gemma the oldest?
Gemma Layden. She's the oldest, yeah. So I don't think we have like someone who stands out. I think we all look after each other, really.
Yeah, group
I
mentality.
think we're all there for each
No,
other.
I'm not having that. Sophie Balshaw's a proper little mum.
Oh yes, she is.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, Sophie.
Mothers everyone, doesn't she? She's probably one of the youngest on the squad, except for the proper young girls that came from Crosby Stewart this season. I'd say Sophie's probably one of the youngest, and she mothers everyone.
Antonia as well. Shout out to Antonia.
Yeah.
Antonia's probably actually, yeah, that's a fair one. She's one of the more mature players, isn't she? She had a couple of years out, had a few kids and that, and she's come back recently. But yeah, she takes no messing around from us or the girls.
Brilliant. Question to both girls then. What's your best memory being part of the team so far?
Go on,
Abby. Sorry, the first time we played at the stadium. That was probably mine, probably.
Yeah.
It was dead good, like having the fans and that there and stuff. It's quite good. Like a few family members we had there, so yeah, probably that one.
That's brilliant. And what about you, Shannon?
Yeah, I'll try and say a different one. I'm trying to think of one where like everyone's been there, but do you know what? Probably the Tuesday, like 2 weeks ago, the Tuesday when we all came back, it was just so good to see everyone, and I don't think there's going to be another lockdown or anything like touch wood, but yeah, I just think it was a nice feeling to see everyone again and just be back, like, and everyone was so positive as well, so that's probably up there.
That sounds good. That's brilliant. So yeah, the season is starting again in a few weeks. Obviously, I think it's Ashton Town who's playing again. I think that's the 18th of April. So coming back to death. What was that? Sorry.
Ashton Town next week.
Next week is it? Yeah. So coming back to death for the final question. How are things looking for that one? And how do you think the team's shaping up? Do you think for that one?
Quite good. We're waiting. Got a few players who've had some knocks tonight. A couple who were already out with injuries and they picked up kind of coming back. Obviously, it's a long period of time to be sitting around the house, not being able to go out, only getting the exercise once a day. So we've had a couple of players that obviously we hit the ground running and they've picked up some strains and stuff. But I mean, we did say quite openly we were going to hit the ground and go hard, because if people were going to pick up knocks, we didn't want it to be on a match day. We had a couple of people pick up knocks tonight, so I think we're just waiting to see in the morning, make sure we've got no proper injuries. And I think the way we were playing today, from about half an hour in, shows that the system, the shape, and kind of the personnel are working. Things were really starting to click. Some of the opportunities we had in the second half, even in the first half, Shannon missed an absolute sitter. I think it could easily have been, 4 or 5 goals.
I thought I got away with that not getting brought up.
Oh, you were never getting away with that. I was definitely getting brought up. Just waiting for the right opportunity. We had a couple of ones that kind of came close, and you just think, yeah, that could have been 5 or 6 today. So I think we're quietly confident, is what I'd say, for the next couple of weeks.
I'm confident.
Confidence. Should be a good one. Should be it'd be interesting to watch us, and hopefully I'll be able to come down. I don't know. I think our festival of football with the men's team will be over by then. Hopefully, I think so. I'll be able to come down and give it a watch as well, and help Matt out. So that'll be great to come down and watch. But yeah, we're probably going to get kicked off Zoom soon. So thanks a lot for coming on to the podcast. It's been great to get to know more about you and more about the team, and hopefully we'll do even more so in the coming weeks. And I'll be able to come down and watch us and cover some of your games and stuff like that. Do some more interviews actually in person this time. But yeah, before we wrap it up, any final messages, a little shout outs for anyone that you want to stick on?
Just all the Marine girls, ladies, just the team.
Yeah.
Team, yeah. Got to shout out Ian as well, haven't we? Really.
Yeah.
Oh, where's Ian?
Killers.
You not fancy coming on?
You know what? He's just a little drama queen. He gets so flustered over things like this. Honestly, he just likes to panic, and he gets all flustered and worried, and he's like, she was going for days like, I'll do it, and then the next day I get a call going, can't do it, can't do it, I won't be able to, and then the next morning he's going, now just leave it with me, I've got this. And I think today he finished on, no, I don't think I can. So unfortunately he's had to put up with me instead.
No, you've been brilliant. Thanks a lot for it, and I'm sure I'll pin him down to an interview when I get down to the match in a couple of weeks.
Absolutely.
Or Sunday. That'll be great. We'll have him up against the advertising board and make sure he gives us some quotes. But no, as I say,
you're gonna say abs up battering for you. She'll get him into line.
Yeah, you can interview him for us. That'll be boss. But yeah, thanks a lot for coming on, and thanks for everyone who's listened as well. It's been a pleasure, and make sure you listen to the other episodes. We've spoke to loads of people so far. We've had a couple of players on in the last couple of weeks. We've had Bailey Passant and Adam Hughes came on, and then Jay Devine and James Barrigan came on together. They're a funny pair. I think they went to school together, so they're a funny pair. And then we've had Gary Mabbott. We've had loads of Spurs people on as well. So make sure you give a listen to the other episodes. So it's been loads of fun so far, so make sure you give it a listen, and thanks a lot for listening to this one, and join us next time on the Marine FC official podcast.
We are mighty.